I grew up in a town called Kinsale in Southern Ireland near Cork City. I wanted to be a journalist as early as I can remember. I was good at English. One of my first jobs when I was 16 years old was I used to run all ages punk, rock and metal gigs in Cork City, selling tickets, running the shows, booking the bands, all that jazz. So alternative music was my thing growing up.
But Alan wanted more. He would try to get his foot in the door in the field of journalism by blending his two passions.
I wanted to see, could I, write album reviews or gig reviews, that kind of thing. I was like, could I get a shot at trying to write that in one of the local newspapers? And they were like, all right, we'll give you one go at this and see if you suck or not. And once you get published for the first time, you're like, yeah, I want more of that. Like that thrill of getting paid to write about something I would have gone to anyway, like a concert, was an amazing feeling.
The young journalist would see his name in many papers across Ireland and the United Kingdom. He would write about crime, politics, and music. But before long, a new opportunity would arise that would drastically change his life.
The guy who used to write about hockey for our newspaper retired, and hockey's a pretty minority sport in Ireland, and so they were like looking around the newsroom going, well, does anybody here know anything about this sport? And I was like, well, I went to a school that played it, but I mean, my buddies all play it, but I don't play it, but I've watched enough of it. And they were like, right, you, go. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna write about this sport, I think I better learn how to play it. So I started as an adult beginner at 22. So I started writing about it, and that led to starting to play it. And ultimately, that's then what's led to coaching it.
Alan would trade out his life behind the keyboard for one with a whistle.
It was honestly absolute insanity because I took a 50% pay cut to do this, and coaching's not really a profession in Ireland unless you happen to be good enough to coach a national team. So I was coaching 12 teams at the same time to make this work. So that was across 3 different clubs and 3 different schools. And so it was manic, as you might imagine. There was everything from under 13 boys to over 55s women in these teams.
In 2017, the now Coach Good would move across the pond to the States to start a new life as a club field hockey coach in Virginia. And one fall evening in 2019, he would take his team to see the UVA Who's take on the Liberty Flames.
This was a real back and forth, like barn burner of a game, but no one could score. And UVA scored with about 90 seconds to go to win the game 1-0.
Back towards the middle, a scrum in front of goal, it trickles in, and Virginia's got the lead!
Afterwards, I bumped into Coach Nikki and her husband, Hugh.
We were looking for somebody to help develop our drag flick, so my husband had been telling me for honestly many months, like, hey, what do you think about bringing this Alan Good, a good coach in? It was evident after talking to Alan for 10 seconds that he was elite at what he did, and it was just a matter of him getting a chance to coach at this level, and he was going to be pretty special.
But before Alan would ever come for that clinic, Coach Nikki Parsley Blocker would call about an opening on the Liberty coaching staff. And the two have been on the sidelines together ever since.
Can't believe we're here. Yeah.
What a day.
Even reaching the university's first ever national championship game in 2021.
The Flames are heading to the national championship game!
I don't think I've ever heard of somebody coming from journalism and then into field hockey, but it's really cool because I think he's able to apply some of that skill set that he had from a different career into what he does every day in hockey.
When you're in journalism, you have to learn how to ask good questions, right? Questions that are going to get people to talk. And I think that's the same in coaching. There's times when we might just have to give the players the answer in a short instruction in the moment. You're going, yeah, ball. What did we say last week? Yeah. You want the ball down here, don't you? Yeah. Ask for it where you want it, all right, buddy? Thanks. But there's also a lot of other times where we're trying to ask a guided question, to see if they can almost find the solution themselves with our help. If we have the ball and we're under some pressure and we're trying to get the shot off, we need to move what?
Our feet.
Our feet. We can't just stand there and play around with the ball. Move our feet, look for the stick, okay? Can you show the group that, please, Molly?
Yeah, right here, my defender.
Yeah, attack your own right foot because you're looking for their left one, okay? All right? If I can't shoot and I can't pass, I look for a penalty corner, okay?
Yep.
Let's do it. In the same way that, if I had a 2,000-word article that needed to, was a big feature that required multiple interviews and I knew it had to be in by this date, there's a lot of work that has to go in to get it to that point, and it's the same for us when we're in season. Exactly like I taught her in practice yesterday. Exactly what we worked on down there. There's definitely similarities in that you're constantly building up to a moment, you put it out into the world, hope the product is good, and then you're prepared to do it all over again.
To share a sideline with him, I can't believe that it's been 5 years. He compliments me and I compliment him extremely well, and that allows us to be a really special team.